videos and the bottle auctions, that's my job now. And I've been sustaining that now for a little over 2 years and absolutely love it.
That's awesome.
Well, it doesn't make it a job anymore. Yeah, it becomes when it's not a job anymore. It's what you love. When it becomes your passion and you can make money at it too, that's what, a lot of us, that's all our goal, in life, is when you can make a living out of what you love to do. So congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I am living the dream. And, I would all to the support, the subscribers, the followers, the people that come in my auctions, all of the information that I get on stuff that I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm learning as I go. So we learn from one another. And then I hear stories about, people being in hard times or real depressed or, even worse off, wanting to be done with everything. And, they watch one of my videos or something and it just brings them back out of the darkness and they're back enjoying life. I've reunited people that went to high school together and just all kinds of crazy, awesome stories I've heard about stuff that I've done for people. And here I am just going out, bottle digging and metal detecting. But it's so much bigger. A lot of people don't realize it is so much bigger. And I didn't even realize, but it's still going. It's incredible.
It's absolutely awesome. Yeah. It's funny. It's sometimes, you're putting out what you're doing at the same time. I bet like the stories that you're getting from, people on how you've helped them would make a great story as well. Yeah. Right. A great book, anything.
Maybe one day when I can't pick up that shovel anymore, I'll write a book.
The day you can't pick up a shovel, you're still going to be there on the sidelines going, no, bring up the bucket.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I gotta be on the front line right there doing it.
Yeah. Just put me in the hole.
Yeah.
Hopefully by then there'll be some like lightweight tools, and I mean it's crazy because I think people who do they privy dig and dump dig, like you've kind of created a lot of your own tools, haven't you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've got some little hose remover tools that I buy and modify, and they're like single prong picks, and they're perfect for digging and extracting bottles.
Oh yeah, my friend that I was telling you about earlier, that's such a big fan. Oh, she's like, well, this is what they use, and I made some of my own, where she'd break off the prongs and telling me all about it and stuff. Because
that's awesome.
I'm the one that got her into dump digging, and even though she had started metal detecting, and I took her to her first dump, and she hasn't looked back since. So you've been a big, big influence for her, and she sells bottles. She started an eBay store. Started it out selling bottles from that she dug with me at these dumps, and then now it's turned into a full-time business with her, selling on eBay, other things as well as the bottles. But could you tell our listeners that aren't familiar with like digging privies and some of the dumps? I know most of them already know, but besides the bottles, could you tell them some of the other stuff that you find, and then maybe share a funny story or something, maybe about one of your favorite finds that you found?
All right, yeah. So I normally find tons and tons of metal. A lot of times when they threw trash away, it was in a barrel or a burned bucket, coal bucket, something like that. So that's also a good sign to look for. But there's a lot of metal, ash, bricks. Sometimes there's a decent amount of marbles. And another thing that I find a whole lot of are sauce bottles. And a lot of people's like, why do you find so many sauce bottles versus sodas and beers and meds? And the reason being is because meat went bad, rancid back then. They didn't have a way to keep it fresh. So a lot of families didn't have the money, to keep buying fresh beef. So they were eating pretty much rotten meat, and the smell and the taste was overbearing. So they would douse their meat with these sauces, these ketchups and stuff, to be able to consume it. And that's the reason why you find so many sauce bottles in these dumps.
Huh. Could that be another reason why you find a lot of the upset stomach medicines too?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The upset stomach. Then you got the more crazier quack medicines.
Yeah.
So, some of the sayings that they used back then were just really hilarious and misleading.
Mm-hmm.
And then they started doing the like recessed panels and stuff in the druggist bottles. Well, I don't know if you've ever cleaned one of them kind before, but the opening inside is so thin, a little tiny copper bead or pellet will get stuck in it. So basically, they were price gouging people. There was a very, very tiny amount of actual content in the bottles.
They still do that today.
Yeah, they do. You're right. Especially like chip bags and stuff. My
chip
gosh.
Bags, that's exactly where my thought went to. Yep, totally. It's funny how things repeat itself.
But now, great find. I'll take you back to right at the end of last year. I was digging with a couple buddies of mine, Will and Henry, who they've been on probably about 8 or 9 of my videos. And we were digging a little roadside dump. It was only about 3 feet deep. The top of the dump was around 1940s, 1950s. And a lot of the stuff down near the bottom was right around turn of the century. So I was not expecting what came out. The first thing that came out, I don't know if you guys remember, that massive hot rod shooter marble. The gear shift marble.
Yep.
It's acro agate oxblood, and it was like a special edition that the kids or the hot rod owners would get for their shifter knob. Well, that was the first really unique thing that came out of the ground, and then a 1830s, 1840s completely free-blown open funnel sauce bottle comes out of the ground in absolutely immaculate condition. I still have it in my display case, and it is one of the earliest known sauce bottles from Baltimore.
That's so cool.
How cool is that?
But I never thought in a million years that would be in that particular dump. There's things that bottle diggers refer to as late throws. Which
right.
is, something somebody held on to for a while and then decided to throw it away. So it's a lot older than what the normal contents of the dump is. But we were talking 100 years older than what anything in the dump was. So just something crazy like that. And then another time I was actually up in Hagerstown doing some privies. I had already dug 4 privies in this one yard that we probed out, and I got permission to metal detect as we were filling the privies in. And like 3 feet outside the privy hole, I pulled a U.S. box plate.
Oh.
I mean, just craziness. I was
crazy
dumbfounded.
Stuff you find.
It's like treasure upon treasure upon treasure upon treasure, and then bam, another treasure.
My most recent treasure is it's a saber belt plate for a high-ranking officer. And believe it or not, I didn't even have my metal detector or pinpointer or nothing. It just popped out in the shovel when I was digging the sidewall out of a new dump that I discovered.
It's crazy.
That is insane.
So, yeah, you just never know where that next treasure's hiding.
you really never know. And, that's something that never ceases to amaze me is in dumps and privies. I can imagine, I know there's things that are purposefully dumped, but there's so much that is accidentally dumped too. And a lot of people don't think about that. Most people don't think about that. But for instance, with like late throwaways, some of that is purposefully thrown away late. But think about when someone has passed away, and a lot of people, when someone passes away, they don't want to take the time to go through everything. And they will just dump things, and they'll take stuff to the dump and dump it. Or
that is exactly right.
They don't want to go through a lot of stuff, and they've got a box full, or they don't go through it thoroughly, and those things are overlooked. The same thing as, I'm sure you already know about, well, I know but like these privies, the stuff that accidentally falls down in there, like change and belt buckle, belts fall down, all kinds of stuff, but also things that were hidden during, guns and all kinds of stuff that were hidden in privies and stuff at certain times, especially certain time periods. I'm sure you've found some shocking and could tell some amazing stories there. But anyway, that's something a lot of people don't think about, that when I know from my experience, when I'm say, hey, I'm looking for a privy, an old toilet, or I'm looking for a dump, and they just had look, their eyes gloss over like, what? What do you want? And I'm sure you get that all the time. But anyway, it's fascinating. People, like you said, it just never ceases to amaze me. I know Amanda and I, we've had some other privy diggers and dump diggers guests on here, and as well as Amanda and I have dug into some dumps together and stuff like that. It's constantly amazed at what we find. So, and Phil says, do you worry about catching any funky stuff that would make you sick? The neat thing about most all of these dumps, 90%, unless it's a modern dump, is all that stuff has been decomposed. And I'm sure, Travis can tell you. Sure, with some stuff, Amanda and I, y'all have probably heard us talk about the button dump. There was a time where there is a lot of stuff in there that we did not want to breathe. So we would wear a mask, actually, to help. Amanda, you can explain more about that if you want. But Travis, do you ever, worry about any of that? Normally, I don't worry about any of that because it's all decomposed.
Yeah, I don't necessarily worry about the contents of the dump other than the ash. And you said something about wearing a mask. I cannot wear a mask and dig. I just can't. It messes my breathing up. And the mask sits right on the bridge of your nose. So all that dirt and ash rests there. And anytime you breathe, it literally just blows right into your eyes. So I can't dig in a mask. But, yeah, the ash does affect my lungs, my breathing. After a couple of days, it usually clears out. But the really dry dumps, it does kind of make my voice raspy, and I have a little wheeze sometimes. But I've been watching these bottle diggers like Digger Dave and Shovel and Shelley, for instance. They've been digging dumps and privies for over 40 years, and they're still in good health and doing what they're doing. So I'm only 9 years in, so I don't feel like I have too much at risk. I haven't seen anybody have anything happen to them other than a collapse. That's pretty much your most dangerous.
That's your biggest danger
thing in a bottle dump. You got to worry 100%. About your overhead all the time.
Now, do you tend to have partners that come with you to kind of help with the safety? I know in a lot of the videos we see just you, but then eventually a friend joins you. Do you like